So let's start writing our first program. As I've shown you, the first program could be just a simple message on a screen. You want to display any, message like greetings. So for some of you, I'm sure you have done a little bit of programming. If you want to display something on a screen, use print. Or some languages do use echo, some languages do use standard out to display something. But for Python, it uses print, just a simple print. You wanna put in something to the user, so you use print. And what you print just a very simple message like hello. But remember to put it in quotes. Hello, yes. Very, very simple message. And how do you run it? You come straight to here where it's written run, just click run. Now, if you're working with Jupyter Hub or Jupyter Notebook, if you're on this cell and you want to add another cell, you can just click this cell here. You can click it save. Save here. Yeah, you can save, but let me just add another cell, and maybe I want to print another message and say, oh, sorry. I want to print another message. What's going on? Another message which says, this is, let me say, Python is exciting. Right? We click run. Voila. There you go. So that's the first program. So you can try a lot of different things like your name, your home address, and you can tell me what errors you're encountering if there are any. But I doubt if you may encounter error at this point in time. Now, how is Python code executed? Python uses an interpreter. As I said, this is high-level programming language, so it uses an interpreter. Some low-level languages do use compilers, but here they're using interpreter. So what it does, it executes line by line. For example, if we wanna, let me say we want to print, print an imaginary, let's say cup, right? And we just want to use print, right? So we can say print imaginary cup, right? That's the first line. And then we can print in this first line. Now our cup just, it has like this line. Let me say this line. And for those who have done, let's say, Java, they might recall that we normally end with semicolon, but here you don't really need to have semicolon after each line. So and let's say another line. Right? Another line. And probably this is our cup, but we need to have something at the bottom, and we want to print something at the bottom. I don't know how that might look, but yeah. Or that's no, yes, perhaps that's our cup, right? What will be the output if we run? Boom, we have something like that. This is our imaginary cup, right? Something amazing. So if you realize, it's like we printed our first message, imaginary cup, on the first line, so it's printed on the first line. Then there's this second line, which is actually this, and then this third line, and there's this fourth line, which is at the bottom to make our cup. So Python operates or executes in that fashion. It does executes the first line, then second line, goes like that in a program. Let's try another program. Let's say you want to print, let's say a star, right? You want to print stars. If you want to print stars like this, sorry, let's say 3 stars. What will be the output? Something like that. And what we want to print stars like that, but we want to multiply it instead of just listing 1 star at a time. We want to, print and say, okay, we're printing stars, but we want to multiply it by 5 or by 10. Let's say you want to print 5 stars. You can put this asterisk here as a multiplication sign, but this is standing as a star because you put it in a quotation. So it will be printed the way it is. Anything that's within a quotation has to be printed the way it is. So if you run that, you'll see 5 stars are printed. If you change, that means you have taken 1 star and is multiplied by 5. If you change to, let's say, whatever number, 10, and you run it, you'll see you have 10 stars, right? So that's the first simple idea about Python. It's very straight. Printing, it does print, and it operates, or it executes in a kind of, a flow where it starts from the beginning, then it flows that way until the end of the program, and it terminates. So there are variables. Variables, for some of you who have been programming, know that any language has variables, and these are used to store whatever data you have in your program. For example, let's consider this problem here. You suppose you have a grocery store system. You have a grocery store system. Let me change it a little bit. Let me put it in quotes, and let me put it this way: a grocery store system. Now our grocery store system accepts a product name, a tax, and whether it is sold or not. Now, for this case, we want to define the variables and print out their values on the screen. But how do we do? It is straight. We have variable name. We have a variable called product name. We have a variable called tax. So for this case, it could be easy, right? So we could say product, and again, product name. Now, while I'm defining these variables, please take note of a few things. One, for a variable, you don't really need to itemize. I mean, you don't need to put capital letters. Just go straight with small letters. And again, when you're using a variable that has multiple words, you can use an underscore. Okay, so variable, so in a product name, we're not sure what it is, but we can just say, well, it accepts a product, let's say cashew nut or cashew nut. But that's the product name. And the second is price. So what's the price for this cashew? Right? Maybe it's it's 4,000. Right? And what is the tax on this? Where the amount the government collects? I don't know. Let's say maybe 430. Right? And some points, some cents, like 50 cents. And so what else? That's it. Okay, and they're saying it and whether it's sold or not. So we can write is sold. We're not sure whether it's sold. And if it's not, then we can say true. So now out of this, you can see the first one we've put in quotes, the first variable, the second variable not in quote, the third variable not in quote, and the last variable not in quote as well. So we'll come to learn that this first variable belongs to a group of to a data type called string. The second one is just an integer, right? The third one is a float because it has points. Now, anything in programming that has points is called float. For some of you who have been doing programming, can remember that anything that has points is a float, and you can have several types of data types that have points, and you can change the names. But anyway, that's not our point here. We just want to learn the basic things. Now, the fourth variable takes a value true or false. So that's Boolean. So for some of you who has an idea, you can remember this. So if you want to print any of this, let's say you're printing a product name, you don't have to put it in quotes, right? If you're printing a variable, you don't have to put it in quotes. You don't, because anything that's in quotes is printed the way it is. So we could say product name, and again, remember to use meaning variables so you can remember. Don't just say X. Don't just say name of what. So you need to be careful. So if you want to print that one, you can print it. If you want to print the price, print price. Now you want to print tags, so you want to print is sold, and so forth. So you can print any of them. This is tags. You run that one, you could see we have a questionnaire that's sold at 4,000 and the tax is this much. And whether it's sold or not, you can just say print is sold, right? If you run, you can say sold, maybe true. Or if it's not, then you can say false. And remember, this is bold. So the Jupyter bolds this kind of a thing. That means it's a reserved keyword. So if you print false, then you can say false. All right. Thank you. So there's a minor exercise here for you to try. Okay. Now we want to try to register a customer named Nyambiti Mbalawa in our grocery store system. He's 32 years old and is a new customer. So identify and define all the variables in this scenario, and pause the video, come back after a few minutes. All right. So what are the variables do we have here? We have a name of the customer. So you can say customer name. That's we have given the name Nyambiti Mbalawa. And what else do we have? He's 32 years old. That's the age, right? So the age is 32. That's a number, that's an integer. So you don't need to put it in quotes. We just put in quotes for the strings. And is a new customer. So we say is new customer. Or we can just say, we can just say new customer. Because it's new customer, that means it is true. So we have identified this variable. So you can go ahead and print, let's say age. And you'll see once you run it, it is saying that are true. Okay. Thank you. So we continue with another thing. Now we were dealing with variables, and we had to type in them, but in most cases you find systems that don't allow you to go into the code and type in things. You have an interface that takes whatever input you have written to the code and execute. So good practice is you don't really get access to the code. You give a user an interface. So for Python, we can get the input from the user using this function here called input, right? Using a function called input. Now for this grocery store system, we want to modify it a little bit and allow the users themselves to write input or to input their names, the product they want to buy, and the quantity. Now I want to print the values on the screen. So what do we do? How do we get the name? So you still define the variable customer name. Now you want to input it, or you want to get it from the user using the function. So inside the input function, you can use a quotation, ask the user what is, or the customer, what is your name, right? You can leave space like that. What is your name? You let them type in their name. And what else do you want to get? The product they want. So you can say product, what product do you want? What do they want? And again, you take it as an input. Okay. Use single double quotes, so they are fine. You can say product. Product they want. And what else do you want? And the quantity. And the quantity. That is straight. You don't need to add anything else. So input, and we're getting the quantity. Quantity. Now remember to put the quotes, right? So once you run this, you can get all the inputs from the user. But our question here, or our problem here, wants us to display a message at the end. So it should read all this input, the name that has been put in, or the name that has been written in, the product that has been selected, and the amount or the quantity. So we can print a message here, print a message like, hi, remember we have this customer, so we don't know the name yet. So you can say hi, but remember to concatenate. It's a terminology called concatenation, where you want to put together a certain message plus a variable. So we use a plus. And most of languages do use plus to concatenate or to put together, a string or a message plus a certain variable. So hi, customer name. We don't know the name yet, right? Okay, and we concatenate it with our message. Hi, for example, Jimmy, right? And we put a comma here, so we can use comma, right? Hi, Jimmy. Oh, sorry, something is wrong here. Hi, Jimmy. Something is wrong here. All right, hi, Jimmy. Something is not right here. Hi, Jimmy. Or hi, someone else. We're not sure who are you. So we concatenate it with, I don't know what's going on. All right, we concatenate it with this message. You have selected, we don't know how many products they have selected. So again, we concatenate it with let me close this. I need to close this and concatenate it with something is not fine here. I'm not liking it. Concatenate it with quantity. So you don't put in quotes the variable. You concatenate it with quantity. Well, and that's it. So hi, somebody, comma, you have selected a certain amount. That's it. So let's run it. So it is asking us, what's your name? Oh, my name is Joseph. And what's your product you have chosen? Let's say papaya. Right? And how many are they? You have chosen 5. So here the message, hi Joseph, you have selected 5. 5 what? So this is not good. So let me concatenate it with the product. Right? I think that's better. Let me run it. So what's your name? That's Joseph. What's the product? Papaya. How many papayas? 5. So the message is, hi Joseph, you have selected 5 papayas. Wow, now there's an issue here. You see 5 and papayas are together. So how do you deal with that? You can put quotes and put space. This is misbehaving a little bit. I'm not happy with it. Right? So, but remember to concatenate again. Like that. I'm not really happy with the way it is. This feels like something's wrong with this keyboard. I'm not very happy with it. Not very happy with it. Okay, so we have clicked somewhere else. All right. Plus product. Okay, so I think that's better. Name Joseph. Product papaya. Quantity 5. Is it 56? Wow, voila, we have 35 papayas. So that's the way we can receive inputs. Let's have a look at a minor exercise. Because we see it is quite straight. So ask a customer 2 questions, name and their favorite food, and then print a message like Balawa likes octopus soup. So want to get the name, just go straight to a name, and we ask using the input, right? And we can ask what is your name, right? What is your name? And what is their favorite food? So you can say favorite food, and then you want to receive it from the input. So you could say favorite food equals what is your favorite food? It's your favorite food, right? And then you want to print a message which says, hey, your favorite food is this one. So we can say print a message like, because we are saying Mbalawa likes octopus soup. Mbalawa, that's the name of our, customer, and octopus soup is the name of their favorite food. So you are concatenating the name and their favorite food. So we don't need to start with these codes. We can start with name, right? Plus, what do they like, right? We can say likes. I'm leaving space here so we can have enough space. Plus what? Plus their favorite food. Favorite food. And again, remember not to put in quotes the variable names. So we have a message like this. What do we get after running? So what's your favorite food? Let me say Marty, right? And what's their favorite food? Wow, chips cook. Marty likes chips cook. That's wonderful, right? So try exercising, try getting a little bit more different examples of how you can receive inputs of variables and try to print them out, and you can see the output. And we'll continue from there. Thank you.